to the Cast Off, the #1 recasting show on the internet, with 2 contestants compete by recasting your favorite actors in movies you love. I'm your host, Craig Price, and tonight, fire up the barbecue and open up the Chianti. We are recasting Silence of the Lambs, and we've got some great folks to go with it. Tonight, we have from the Age of Geek Network, and I've got to get used to saying that, and also from Movies That Make Us, co-host Tracy Mangum, and playwright, play director, play actor, playful person in general, and YouTuber Tami Anderson. Welcome to the show, kids. How are you?
Doing great. Really good.
Awesome. Well, we'll start with Tracy. Tracy, you are now in the new Age of Geek. So what does that mean? Does that mean you get a raise? What has changed now that it's Age of Geek?
Basically just a cosmetic change. We're hoping to expand the brand, do a little bit more with local events and reaching out and doing community stuff, as well as expanding the podcast network. So right now we've got Cutscenes and Cupcakes, we've got the Age of Geek team, and then Movies That Make Us, and we're all kind of under the Age of Geek umbrella.
Well, Movies That Make Us is your home. So how has that been going? What do you guys got planned for FanX and September in general? Because we're only weeks away from the big event.
Yeah, just a couple of weeks away. We found out that we should have a panel there. I believe it's 20 years of Spider-Man. So that would be a lot of fun. Blake is the program director, is nice enough to give us a spot usually in the programming. So we haven't seen the official calendar, but that's what we've been told. We did a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society. We did a screening of Sharknado.
Oh, how'd that go?
And raised about $600. Raised about $600. That was great.
So is those the people that paid not to go?
No, most of that went to raffle items. We did have an admission ticket, but then people were nice enough to volunteer to allow us to raffle off some stuff to bid on. That was cool.
Not And of course, your competition tonight is Tami Anderson. Tami, congratulations on the premiere of your play at the Fringe Festival. Not the Fringe Festival, but the Utah Fringe Festival.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Great Salt Lake. It was awesome. I had the opportunity to direct an amazing cast, and I wrote the play. It was just kind of like, oh my gosh, I have this opportunity and here it is. And and it was really successful, and I am now directing a new play with Wasatch Theater Company in October called Tent Girl. So I'm really excited.
Well, let's talk about your play real quick. Give us the title and a brief 2-sentence synopsis.
It's called Watch Me Disappear. And it's basically about a woman who was abused as a child and suffering the consequences as an adult and trying to heal from the trauma.
So it's a comedy. That's great.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Wow. Do they serve alcohol at the Salt Lake Fringe? Because you're going to need a drink after that. That sounds like it's a heavy deal.
Yeah, I don't believe in happy endings, but I believe in hopeful beginnings, and so that's my show had a hopeful beginning. So
well, that's good. It had a hopeful beginning, and it kind of goes realistically downhill from there. It sounds like. Well, let's get on with the show, and we'll. It was wonderful. I'm glad, very happy for your success, and we'll get to the rules. The rules are fairly simple. I will name a character in the movie, and our contestants will recast them with an actor throughout all of time and space. The judges will pick, and the best choice gets 1 point. I play along as well, and if you happen to pick the same one as me, you get a point. And let's be honest, my selection is usually the best choice, so that's a good way of getting 2 points. Just recently, Tracy, your fellow castmate Jake Dietz pulled off the impossible and actually won with less correct answers because he had 2 for the history-making 2 of Craig's choices that were also the best choice. He got 4 points of 2 picks, and poor Paul Hitchcock was screwed.
Insane.
Person with the most points wins, and if there's a tie, we will talk about the double feature when and if it's necessary. Tonight, tonight's show is always brought to you by the home show Matinee Heroes, and Like every September, Al and I are traveling about, so we don't have the ability to actually record new episodes, so we've unlocked one of our past Patreon episodes, The Batman. So head over to matineeheroes.com/subscribe and join the podcast. And you can also hear on the audio feed the exclusive cast-off post-game show every Thursday on the Matinee Heroes feed. While you're there, if you enjoy the show of the cast-off, you can subscribe to the video feed by going to matineeheroes.com/castoff. It recasts the show we now begin, or else it gets the hose again. That's right, we're doing Silence of the Lambs. And Tracy, since you go first, and we are going to start with the amazing and wonderful Clarice Starling, played by Jodie Foster. This was an amazing. Everybody in this is perfectly cast. This movie, even though it's been recast dozens and dozens of times, I think Jodie Foster was pitch perfect as Clarice Starling. So, who do you have to possibly replace her?
Tough. So I wanted somebody who's a fairly young actress because Clarice is new. She's vulnerable. She hasn't been in the field a lot. I went with an actress that I really feel is on the up and coming. I went with Emilia Jones. She was recently in Coda.
Yes, absolutely. She was fantastic in Coda. She was the girl that sings to deaf people, and that's when that scene where her dad puts her hand on her throat, and so he can quote unquote listen, was it's just devastating. It was so beautiful. That movie was awesome. But she's also in Lock and Key on Netflix. She's a series regular on that. She was in Tom Hiddleston's High Rise for a little bit. She was in a British pug movie called Patrick, and was in a cowboy movie called Brimstone. I think she's fantastic, and I like, just like you, think she is definitely someone to keep an eye on. Tami, he comes out swinging, so who do you have as Clarice Starling?
I wanted to go with somebody who also I thought was kind of young, but she's definitely got a name for herself. I went with Elizabeth Olsen.
Ah, yes.
Ooh.
Elizabeth Olsen, the other Olsen sister. We know her as Wanda, of course, in the Avengers movies and spin-offs, but she was fantastic in Wind River. She was the apple of Audrey Plaza's eye in Ingrid Goes West. She was in a relationship with her brother because
yes, in Godzilla.
In Godzilla, she was the wife of Quicksilver, who was her brother in Avengers. And she was with Thanos in Old Boy. So she's got all these things bases covered. This is two really good picks. Emilia Jones and Elizabeth Olsen, you guys are not fooling around. Judges conferred, and Elizabeth Olsen is the pick. Yes.
Nice.
I went with Olivia Cook. I also wanted that young up and coming, and I think as she's getting older, and she would fit right into that Clarice Starling mold, because Julianne Moore has played her. We've had a couple people on TV have played her. All of them are very, very bright and smart young ladies, and Olivia Cook is one of them. Oh, now we get to one of the creepiest villains of all time, Anthony Hopkins as Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Tami, this is going to probably be the toughest recast of the night because this will set the tone. Who do you have that could possibly replace, except for Mads Mikkelsen, who does a hell of a job on Hannibal? Who could you possibly replace Anthony Hopkins with?
It sucked because I was like, oh, I would love to cast Mads Mikkelsen, but I went with somebody who I enjoy very much, and he can be really creepy sometimes, and I went with Willem Dafoe.
Creepy sometimes, creepy all the times. That's what he's known for, being creepy AF. He was creepy in the Spider-Man movies. He was creepy in Boondock Saints. He was creepy in Shadow the Vampire. He was a bug alien in John Carter, and he was creepy as a lighthouse keeper. No, he was also creepy as a guy running. This is the Viking movie, The Northman, so he's creepy in all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
But one of his least creepy roles is a movie we did last month for my birthday, Clear and Present Danger. He was fantastic as John Clark in that, as the CIA operative. So, very good choice. Tracy, you got to bring it.
That's a good one. For this one, as much as I like Anthony Hopkins' version of Hannibal, the Mads Mikkelsen one to me is more interesting. So I wanted somebody that would bring a little bit more nuance, not chew the scenery quite hard. This is somebody who can pretty much play anybody. We've seen him play a very cold character when he was playing an android for Ridley Scott with Michael Fassbender.
Oh, yes, absolutely. He's known for international characters, as he was the Englishman in Inglourious Bastards, the German Magneto in X-Men, the alien android in Prometheus, the alien Steve Jobs, because he was crazy Steve alien, and a southern redneck in Jonah Hex. So yes, Michael Fassbender, very good choice there. So we have Willem Dafoe, Michael Fassbender, and it's a tie game. Tracy ties it up with Michael Fassbender. I went with Daniel Day-Lewis. Let's bring out the big guns. Let's get the only problem with picking Daniel Day-Lewis is that he would take a year or two off to kill people to get ready for his thing. That's the only problem with Daniel. Well, next we get to Scott Glenn as Jack Crawford, who's in charge of the behavioral science unit of the FBI. So Tracy, who do you have in charge of the FBI's behavioral science unit, who's in charge of finding all these serial killers?
So I wanted somebody who immediately commands attention, to somebody who is very serious, doesn't mess around, somebody that the audience could instantly feel like they could follow. I went with Robert Redford.
Oh, yes, absolutely. No one plays a bureaucrat like he does because he's the ultimate movie star. Has been for years and still is when he shows up at 82 years old. I believe he's 82 or something like that. He was in Sneakers, Captain America Winter Soldier. We all love him as the Natural. He's amazing in The Sting. And, of course, he was going to pay Woody Harrelson $1 million to play with to sleep with Demi Moore. But I'm pretty sure Demi Moore would have, done it for free. It's Robert Redford, the greatest guy. And, of course, being from Utah, a Sundance natural. So, Tami, who do you have to go up against the ultimate movie star?
His Jack Crawford's character is very conscientious, and he cares, but he can't show it. And I wanted somebody who had, again, that kind of that gravitas. I went with Colin Salmon.
Oh yes, he's very good.
Yes.
He's got that voice because he's British, and all those British people, if they know how to do it, everybody's got a great English voice. Even Bob Hoskins, when he went real Cockney, it was still bold. And he was in the Brosnan Bond movies. He's in the Resident Evil movies. He was in Alien vs. Predator. London Has Fallen, and he played General Zod on the TV show Krypton. So absolutely, it fits in all of those categories.
Yeah, he was also in Doctor Who, and
he was
in Arrow.
Yeah, so. Well, every British actor has to be on Doctor Who at least once.
Exactly.
I mean, Andrew Garfield.
It's a birthright.
Yeah, Carey Mulligan. I mean, they're all been. They have. It's not a birthright. It's because they only have 15 actors. They have to. So it's a small island. We got Robert Redford, Colin Salmon. Got to go with the big man himself. He's only got a few more years left with him, so we got to go with Robert Redford as Tracy takes the lead. I went with J.K. Simmons because no one plays straight-laced.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a straight-laced, great guy. He can go over the top and chew scenery, but in this situation he doesn't. Basically, the person he played in the now I can't remember the name of it. The one with Kira Sedgwick that was on TBS. It was very good. Well, now we get to the exceptional Ted Levine as James Gum, or Buffalo Bill. And, of course, we knew that he wouldn't be able to succeed with his plans because the Buffalo Bills can't win it when it counts, so it makes no difference. We knew right away. But so, Tami, who do you have to play the guy that has that accent?
I went with somebody who is a fantastic character actor.
Absolutely.
He's played the good guy. He's played the bad guy. I went with William Fichtner.
Oh, yes. This is a great actor. Very versatile. He was the blind, sweet guy in Contact. He was the guy who tried to tell the Joker, you're screwing up in The Dark Knight. Had a brief spot in Quiz Show and in Heat, but it was also in Black Hawk Down. Absolutely, and he was on Mom, so he can do sitcoms. He can do anything. William Fichtner, that's gonna be a tough one for you, Tracy. Who do you have to go up against William Fichtner?
I went with somebody younger, and I kind of took swing on this. I wanted to really. Buffalo Bill is such a crucial aspect of this movie, and he's really got to play creepy. And I wanted to see what this actor would do. He's an up and comer. He is pretty much established himself as being an actor who will just dive into the role. I went with Robert Pattinson.
He is not an up and comer. Let's put that away.
Well,
he's been around for a long time.
Yeah, that's true.
20-something years.
True, but he's becoming more mainstream.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's known as the emo Batman, and in fact, we just talked about how we're going to be having the Batman on the podcast. He was in the Twilight movies. He was in Tenet. He was in William Dafoe in The Lighthouse. That's why I thought of that earlier. And of course, he was in Water for Elephants, which is he is definitely creepy when he wants to be. So we have William Fichtner, Robert Pattinson, and William Fichtner gets it because he's just a phenomenal character actor. You know he's going to do that a good job. I went with Christian Bale. This is when he was in the Machinist, but I'd put a little more pounds on him. But he can play super creepy. So now we move on to Anthony Heald, who plays the arrogant Dr. Frederick Chilton. So, Tracy, who do you have that is the arrogant, kind of idiot doctor who makes a couple mistakes and then ends up having dinner with Dr. Lecter himself?
So this is a guy, Chilton is a guy who you just don't like at all. Somebody who you just kind of want to punch in the face. I mean, he's annoying. He hit on Clarice. He's annoying. So I went with a guy who is a phenomenal actor, but is somebody that I think in real life I would not get along with. I went with James Woods.
Yeah, James Woods, who is a come on, baby, what's going on here? Here we go. It's coming. There we go. He's known for an all-around D-bag. That means he's not only a D-bag on screen, but in real life. He was in Contact, True Crime, Be Cool, White House Down, and somehow he was able to weasel his way into the Fantastic Casino. Well, next we have Tami, who is going to out douchebag this guy. Can you out douchebag James Woods? Doubt it.
I don't know. I think my actor can. He's another fantastic character actor. Been in some of my favorite movies, and he just oozes bleh. And I went with Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif is fantastic. He is usually the sleazy minion of someone, as we saw in Lord of the Rings and in Dune. But every once in a while, he gets to go crazy, like in Chucky. He's the voice of Chucky, or at least he was the original voice of Chucky, and now it's been replaced with Mark Hamill. He was in Heaven's Gate, but he can also just play he was in Deadwood, where he was fantastic in that, too. So Brad Dourif is a very good actor. We did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He was actually a little hottie when he was young, too. So he was his first couple roles when he was still young. He was one of those, I wasn't quite sure if he's dangerous or not, kind of hot guy. So we've got James Woods, Brad Dourif. The judges decide to go with Brad, and Tami takes the lead again. I went with Michael Stuhlbarg, who always plays a good doctor, but always has that underlying ick factor, like we saw as this is from Dopesick, where he plays the Dopesick people, and also in Doctor Strange, he kind of plays a doctor that's kind of a jerk. Well, now we get to the last victim of Buffalo Bill, because she is a victim of Buffalo Bill, but she is rescued. So, spoiler alert, if you don't know that by now, you're in some trouble. Catherine Martin, played by Brooke Smith. So, I believe we're starting with Tami. Tami, who do you have playing the young victim who grabs Precious, won't give up, and pretty much tries to save herself? She does a pretty good job of at least getting him off his kilter.
Yeah, I went with somebody who has a really innocent face, but can also be like stand up for herself. And I went with Martine McCutcheon.
I did not know who she was when I first started. She is an English singer and actress. She was in Love Actually and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, but she was also
yeah, Kiss Kiss.
Yeah, she was in the Bromley Boys. But her big claim to fame is that she was on several years of the EastEnders in the 90s and a movie called Jump. So yes, she's had some issues with some health issues, so she's had some bad years as of late, but she's on the comeback trail from what I understand. So we wish her all the best.
Yeah, I just loved her in Love Actually. She's one of my favorite characters in that movie.
Yeah, and in a movie full of people we all love,
Mm-hmm.
except for Alan Rickman. How dare he? You don't cheat on Emma Thompson. Good Lord. Oh, doesn't know how good he's got it. Tracy, who do you have to play the final victim?
I went kind of along the same lines. I wanted somebody that would be innocent, kind of sweet, but yet still have some steel when she needs it to show. I went with
Rebel Wilson, yeah. I don't know about all the sweet stuff because she's known for her shock comedy. She's willing to do or say anything, which is why she's hilarious because she's unbelievably courageous in all of the things she does.
She's got that sweet look.
Okay. She was in Bridesmaids, the Pitch Perfect movies, Pain and Gain. She was really good in Jojo Rabbit, but everybody's got to take a job and make a check, and she was in Cats. I think she was the only one that really enjoyed being in Cats. Everybody else was horrified with the final outcome. So we have Martine McCutcheon, Rebel Wilson, and the judges decided Martine McCutcheon.
Nice.
So Tammy, you are on the cusp of victory, but because, well, I picked Sadie Sink from Stranger Things. I think she's got that real down to earth, girl next door kind of feel to her. But because we still have 2 potential points on the board, you still have a chance to tie it up, Tracy. So we have to move on to our final. And just for fun, we're throwing in the SWAT commander, played by, at the time, up-and-coming rockabilly star Chris Isaak. So this was, like I said, I needed somebody. There's not many people in this movie. So I was like, we'll throw in the only other person people recognize, and that is Chris Isaak. So Tracy, who do you have playing the SWAT commander?
I mean, how do you top Chris Isaak, right? I mean, come on. I went with somebody that is a good actor who would do, because his character doesn't get a lot of screen time. Somebody that I think
it's a cameo.
See as a police officer. Yeah. I was Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, JGL, absolutely. Known for handsome guy number 2. He's always the second guy. Very rarely is he the lead, and even when he's in the lead, you don't feel like he's the guy in charge. He was Batman's buddy in The Dark Knight Rises. He was Lincoln's son in Lincoln. He was Leo DiCaprio's buddy in Inception. He played second banana to Bruce Willis in Looper. And we'll hear him as the voice of Jiminy Cricket in the new Pinocchio coming out later this year. So I don't know if that's the Guillermo del Toro or the Tom Hanks one, but
I think it's the Tom Hanks one, but I could be wrong.
I don't think Guillermo would hire JGL. Seems too bright and shiny for Guillermo. I think Doug Jones is playing the
Probably.
So, Tammy, all you have to do is get this one right, and you're done. You don't have to. He has to get it right and pick up with me. So, who do you have playing the cameo SWAT commander?
I went with one of my favorites. He does cameos a lot. I went with Arnold Vosloo, the mummy himself.
Oh, absolutely. I went to find a young picture of him because we want a young SWAT commander. So, yeah, he looks perfect because this guy has a divotless head. Tracy, I haven't looked at yours, but I know mine has a big thunk in the back.
I've got a few.
Yeah. And in fact, right where my white patch is, I have like a patch of white, like a Jay Leno that normally would be in the front. It's in the back. That's where the divot is. But he was in The Mummy. He was the titular mummy. He was in Agent Cody Banks. He replaced Liam Neeson in the Darkman VODs. He played Zarltan in the G.I. Joe movies and was in Blood Diamond with Leo DiCaprio. So here we go, Tracy.
All right.
Not only do you have to get it right, you have to sync up with me. And so what you need to do is you need to channel Jake. So we got JGL, Arnold Vosloo, Arnie V. That's what we're going to call him. Sorry, Tracy. I went with Harry Styles because that was kind of the thing. And so that means that Tami, you have won as he has been mathematically eliminated. Congratulations. You are today's winner. But also, before we get to your final thought, I do want to remind people that, please, 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 again, if you don't want to hear me talk about it, then sign up. We need people to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I keep using the same picture from months and months ago because we haven't gained any over the summer. We're still 20 shy of 100, so let's please subscribe, and comment on the show. Also, we have T-shirts. We'll be doing FanX in 2 short weeks, and we are doing not 1 but 2 live cast-off shows at the same time. They're going to be in the same panel, and the cast-off shows, and to honor the reunions happening in Salt Lake this September, we have 2 new shirts, and I will show them once again because I love these shirts. We've got The Clerks Are Coming. My buddies, yes. The Clerks are coming. I've met almost all of them except Kevin Smith, so I will be interested in meeting Kevin Smith. But we have The Clerks as one of our games, and because we're having a reunion of Scream, the original, with Neve Campbell and Matthew Lillard and Jamie Kennedy and Skeet Ulrich, we've got, there we go. I can't see. We've got these original shirts, the Scream version of cast-off shirts. So please head over to matineeheroes.com/store and pick yourself up a couple of shirts because we'd love to see an audience full of cast-off shirts. Not because it warms my pocketbook, but it would warm my heart instead, just to know that we have people that appreciate it. So let's get on to today's winner. And Tami, you have today's final thought.
I think I'm just going to continue with my quest to help people be safe on the roads. I ride motorcycles and I see people who don't wear helmets all the time, and it just gives me so much anxiety. So just wear a helmet, be safe, and if you're driving a car, look out for motorcycles.
And if you're going to wear a helmet, for God's sakes, wear pants. No, and I say this because I see a guy, he weighs maybe 80 pounds, and he's got jean shorts and a T-shirt, but he's got like a 50-pound helmet on, and that's great. That's all that's going to do is be able to help them identify you when you die, because that's the only thing that's going to be left. So wear all proper gear, not just helmets. Get your pants, get your jeans, get your leather jackets on. I know it's hot, but it's better to be hot than dead.
Exactly. I know that the only reason I'm alive is because I was wearing my helmet and jeans and a jacket and everything. So I want people to be safe and enjoy.
It's part of the lifestyle. If you're going to get all that souped up bike, you got to look hot in all the leathers. Go get it done. And don't get ashless chaps. Get the chaps with asses. All right. But we still have more to come. So next week on the Cast Off, we've got Everything I Learned from Movies. Steve Condrick, who's going up against Metal Geek's very own and one of our good friends here, Carrie Gordon, as they recast an all-time classic. It's game over, man. It's Aliens.
Oh,
yeah.
That's sweet.
That is going to be a fun one right there. But you want to be on the show? You want to be able to recast some of these great movies with great actors? Head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff/application, or you can send an email to mhcastoff@gmail.com. I'll send you over there. We've had people on the show who've been on because of the cast stuff. It's a very low bar. It's very easy to get on the show. We're always looking for new blood, but we always love our returning foes like Steve, like Carrie, like Tami, like Tracy. If you like the show, let's go back here. I got to go back too. If you like the show, you can follow us on Twitter at The Castoff Show. We have a Facebook group. You can follow us at matineeheroes.com/castoff, where you get links to YouTube and our twitch.tv/matineeheroes link. Also, special thanks to Brendan Agnew and Elizabeth Rapp. Our judges do a great job of making sure that I don't play favorites, because I know that they overruled me on a couple tonight, and I will talk about that later. But on behalf of our great Tracy Mangum, who always a good pal, always a good friend, and the lovely and talented Tami Anderson. That's the recast. We will see you next week.